Hello? Anybody home? Man, it's nice to have a few minutes to relax before everyone gets home. It's a long day at work, at least it felt like one. You know how it can be. But I try to see the big picture. You got to remind yourself why you do it. What's really important? I mean, for most of us, it's our jobs that make everything else possible. We have homes and families and interests outside of what we do on the job. We think about our careers and about things that concern us both on and off the job. Now, things aren't always perfect, but when there's something as important to you as all this, you need to have all the facts. I mean, look at this. Now, there's an important decision. Our company, for example, we've chosen to stay union-free. And like a lot of things, every once in a while you have to step back and remind yourself why. When you think about the economy and how competitive our business can be, it's more important than ever for us to remember what works for us as employees and as a company. Now, you may read something like this, and there are people out there who make unions sound like they have solutions to offer for all your problems. But they really may only be trying to use you to solve problems of their own. It's a tough subject. Unions seem, on the surface at least, to be the worker's friend. It's hard to know what to think if you've never been in a union yourself. But then again, you don't want to just join up just because someone tells you to. How much do you really know about unions? How much is based on what you see in movies or TV? How much of it is based on facts? I mean, I actually grew up with unions around, but it wasn't until I was older that I realized what was going on. The tough talk, the distrust, the hard times. When I started working myself, I found out more of the truth about unions. What they are, what they aren't, and more importantly, what they can and cannot do. Now, whenever someone I know brings up unions, I ask them, how much of the American workforce do you think is in a union? I usually get answers like 60% or 50%. Sound reasonable? I mean, unions are supposed to be big and powerful. They got to have a lot of members, right? The truth is that while people may think that every trucker is a Teamster, that every steel worker makes steel, and that every part of an American car is actually union made, none of that is true. And when it comes to membership, even at their biggest back in the 1950s, less than 40% of workers join unions. And people are still surprised when I tell them that today, unions represent less than 1 out of 10 Americans in the private sector workforce. That means 9 out of every 10 employees in the private sector are union-free. 9 out of 10. Just that one fact can make you rethink what you really know about unions. I mean, what is a union anyway? You ask people that, and they usually just get this look on their face like, I thought I knew, but now that you ask. The reason it's a tough question is that somewhere along the way, unions changed. They went from being a simple brotherhood of workers to being a multi-billion-dollar industry. So the best answer to that question is that today's unions are businesses, ones that provide services to working people for a fee. Union members pay a union to do all their talking for them about wages, benefits, and working conditions. By hiring a union, workers give up their rights to speak to management directly about all these things. And that's not something I'd want. I guess many years ago, the unions had a clear purpose. But I'm talking way back, like before any of us were born. Today, you don't see children working in coal mines or sweatshops. Today, we've got minimum wage, OSHA, a ton of federal safety regulations, equal employment opportunity. We've got laws that do just about everything that unions used to do. That could be why fewer and fewer employees feel they need or want to pay unions anymore. And that's hit the unions where it hurts the most. In their bank accounts. All those members they lost over the years, they got money from those people. And when they went away, so did the union's income. That's a big reason why you might find yourself the target of a union drive. Unions need new sources of dues income because they're fighting to survive. And if unions are businesses, paid union organizers are their sales force, selling union memberships and the dues, fees, and assessments that come with them. Union organizers may approach you and ask you to sign a harmless-looking union authorization card. If they can get your signature, well, then they just made a sale. And if you give them your signature, you may be signing away some of your most important rights, including the right to speak for yourself. So protect your rights and think twice before you agree to pay someone else to speak for you. Being union-free means we can use our ideas and our hard work to help ourselves, not to solve the financial problems of some union. But I still hear people say, but a union means better pay, better benefits. We'll tell management what to do. Let's think about this for a minute, because that's not really the way it works. A union can't tell management to do anything. It all has to be negotiated. The union sits down with its lawyers, management sits down with their lawyers, the union asks for things it promised to employees, and the company says yes, no, maybe. And believe me, it's those maybes you have to worry about. I'll give you this if you give me that. That's what bargaining is all about. Sometimes nothing changes, and sometimes employees do get more. But sometimes, and this is the part the union won't tell you, sometimes employees wind up with less than what they started with. Raises, benefits, job security. Unions don't give you these things, and they're certainly not there for the asking. We earn them by satisfying the customer. All the money that goes to pay for our wages and benefits, the entire reason our jobs exist in the first place, it all comes from the customers, not a union. But to a union, all the good things we earn and depend on could become nothing more than bargaining chips. Even the way we feel about each other could change because of what goes on at a union bargaining table. It's hard to explain. Sometimes you got to see it to believe it. With a union, it's us against them. It's the way unions think. You're looking out for the enemy. Every day you're fighting a war. And if you ever get called out on a strike, well, most people, they're friends now. But if they were to disagree over a strike, look out. There's something about going without a paycheck that puts people on edge. Maybe it's because economic strikers don't get a paycheck from the company, not a penny. They still have to pay for their mortgage or rent, their car, food bills, utilities, and everything else needed to care for a family. Money problems, hard feelings, violence, losing customers, who needs it? The truth is that nobody, employees or management, wants a strike. But the only sure way to avoid a union strike is to avoid joining a union. We've talked a lot about unions because it's important. It's the right choice we made being union-free. But sometimes you just got to remind yourself why you made that choice in the first place. When we do our jobs well, it gives us a sense of accomplishment, of teamwork, and of pride. And after we've done that job, we can look forward to coming home to the things our jobs provide for our families and for us. Things we've all been working for. Things we don't want to put at risk.
Hello, Daddy.
Hey!
Hey, sorry we're late.
All right. Hey, you girls want to go get a pizza?
Yes.
Great idea.
Don't let a union take your eye off what's really important.